Oh, who's that?
Hi, is that Michael?
Who's that?
Hi, Michael. It's Lancashire Police here. I'm just ringing in relation to your vehicle.
Right.
We've just had reports that it's blocking access on the Crescent. Are you able just to move it so vehicles can get past?
Me too. Who's secretary?
Oh, it's really quiet. I can't quite hear you, Michael.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Look, listen. Every day you phone me up because a nuisance call that asks you to move, told me to move it because he's got a builder coming or something. Now, what happened yesterday? I'm currently withdrawing from large amounts of morphine after having a blood clot in my lung, a heart attack over the weekend, and passing 2 kidney stones at the same time. So my patience is running a little bit thin. Will you please take that on board as a human being? Now,
Yeah, no, I'll certainly have
regarding the person who keeps calling you, you really have a duty to have a word with him about what's going on, because this can't continue. I live in a building with a nurse who lives upstairs from me, who works on the COVID ward. So I'm using my back entrance. I'm disabled and I can't walk far. So I'm actually doing you a service by using the back entrance. Now, as far as the highways department are concerned, if you put a ticket on that for obstructing, and as far as I'm concerned, I'd go to court and plead not guilty on the grounds of it's not a through road. And secondly, Paul, who lives at number 6, would knock on my door and say, would you move it please? And if I refuse to move it, then I'd be obstructing. So you need to stop troubling me. Because otherwise, let me put it like this to you now, and we're going to end it here. You can put on your log that if you continue to harass me, I will put on YouTube the time that Simon Jones came to my house and told me that if I continue complaining about the hospital killing my mum the way they did, he's going to tell lies to have me locked up. That amounts to I'm going to fit you up. My lawyer's got a copy of that. All my friends have got copies of it, and I'm restraining from putting it on YouTube right now because he wouldn't have a job next week. So why don't you just leave me alone? Because probably nobody's complained. It's got a camera on it that's hidden. So if any of you go near it and touch it, whoa, you. Because I've also got a video of your officers coming and moving my disabled buggy from the front of my house, taking it down to the end of the street and then getting macadams to tow it in. When I told you about that, you give me the vehicle back free. Because again, that's a sackable offence. Right. Thirdly, while we're talking, and my phone records calls, I've been going to report perjury at an inquest to you for 6 years as a police force. And because the doctor in question has got a few buddies in the police force he probably plays golf with, you don't want to do anything about it. And now the Home Office are getting involved, the Attorney General's offices are getting involved, because I've got a friend in the Attorney General's office, I have autism, and you keep pestering me is eventually going to send me into a meltdown. And if I do go into a meltdown, I'll be coming down to your station with a lawyer and a journalist, and I'll be kicking off to hell. You need to leave me alone. I've just had a heart attack over the weekend. The car's not troubling anybody. And guess what? Inside on the front dashboard happens to be a piece of paper that says, there are 2 key holders to this vehicle. If you need it to be moved, please ring me. So you tell me how it's creating an obstruction and let's get it over with now. And then you ring that guy at number 8 and you tell him what's the matter. Because he's obviously got a problem. He takes it, do you know what, he took the ball off the kids here a few weeks ago playing on the road. Oh, he had to give it back. He's been stopped from driving. He's had his licence revoked. He complained to you last year about the woman feeding the birds in her own garden. And if you look on your log, you'll have a list of calls off him. So why don't you just leave me alone? The fact that I have autism doesn't mean that I'm stupid or got learning difficulties. I have an IQ of 161, and so you need to start respecting that and stop even stopping. Oh, the whole police force has. The whole police force have. There's complaints against 3 officers now for misconduct. that I've made for obstructing justice. And the Home Office backed me up, so does the Attorney General, who you keep telling me to go and ask. Who you as a police force keep telling me to go and ask. Now listen to, I'll tell you what happened now. My mother made an advance refusal to a morphine driver with raised amounts, which accounts to euthanasia, and that's recorded. It should be recorded in the notes, and it is. Everybody went to the inquest and said they didn't raise the drugs. The prescription itself wasn't lawful because of the advance refusal, and you obviously don't understand what an advance refusal is as a police force. Secondly, they all testified that at no time did they turn the drugs up. Yet when you look on the chart, if you're any good at basic maths, the most basic maths, you can see that they accelerated it several times that week. And then on a Sunday she was given cyclozine, which actually magnifies the effect of morphine by magnitudes, and she died at 1 o'clock in the morning. When I shouted you've murdered her, they applied for a deprivation of liberties order 8 hours after she died, and they testified in court that they had one when they didn't have one, because the local DOLS team will not issue a deprivation of liberties order for somebody who's already dead, and also for someone who's not had a mental health capacity assessment. My mum, when she told the nurse she didn't want a morphine driver with raised amounts, the doctor was with her. He claims that it was another doctor that offered it. That other doctor's a Muslim. He would not even be able to walk in a mosque if he did something like that. If he went home, he'd be stoned to death. So let's start getting somewhere now.
I'll raise your concerns on the log, alright, but I was just ringing you to make you aware of the log we've had in relation to you.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I can tell from the sound of your voice you're slightly amused. I don't think it's an amusing situation, really. Not for me, anyway.
I'm not amused by this at any point, sorry.
Can you imagine for a second watching someone you love, or a friend, or someone close to your heart, who you knew didn't want to be euthanised, have that forced on them, and you not being able to do a thing to stop it?
I can't get into personal details or personal opinions, I'm afraid. I was just ringing to make you aware of.
Well, if you're any kind of human being with any decency in yourself, I can answer that for you. You wouldn't like it. Now I'm going to put my phone down now. The vehicle's got a sign in it. Paul's moving out shortly, so he will be getting things out the back. So he knows he can take my key and move it if he wants, if I'm not well. As for Kath next door, Kath never uses the back. As for Leo, the one who keeps complaining to you, well, I'm just about fed up, but he's 90 years old. So I respect that, and I don't go around and knock on his door and ask him why he's victimising me. Next door to that is a rather fat lady who looks after a mum who's 90 years old. They never use the back, but children use the back sometimes to pass on bikes. That's why I park it up close to my wall, so that they can get past easily and they've got enough room. And then at number 10 is Greg, who's a good friend of mine. He'd kindly knock on my door and say, do you want it moving? Now if any stranger came up there, it's not a thrift way, there's only 4 houses to reach, and it says on the vehicle clearly, if this is obstructing, you pass him, please phone. Now, according to the Highways Department, that's ample. And in fact, according to the policewoman who rang me up yesterday because I told one of you to F off and leave me alone when I was withdrawing from morphine and, you know, hallucinating, you were doing me head in. She rang me up and she went, what's wrong, Michael? And I told her. And she said, well, in fact, you're doing society a service by parking there. Because do you think I want to use a hallway that's being used by a nurse who's regularly treating COVID patients? Seriously? Do you think I can walk 200 yards to my vehicle every time? So what you want to do is sort your log out and leave me alone. Otherwise, you're all going to be getting a letter about harassment. And what I will be doing today is, I recorded one of your policewomen admitting I'd been fitted up. In fact, she was responsible for it. And that's going on YouTube today. I've had that for 6 years. But you're stroking me fur backwards. Stop doing it. I haven't done anything wrong. You're the ones who've done wrong. You've ignored perjury for 6 years at an inquest, which you have a duty, a full duty, to investigate. And the Home Office,
okay, I've reported
the Home Office,
what we've had reported to
the Home Office,
okay.
listen, the Home Office,
Be aware of what I've just told you.
the Home Office,
I'll be clearing the line down now.
the Home Office are going to come down heavy on you because Pretty Patel knows about it now. And she ain't going to be happy. She's not a nice woman when she's not happy. So good day. Have a good day. Enjoy your day and stay safe. Before you go, I'm kind enough to wish you that I hope you get through COVID without being ill or even losing someone that's close to you. Because I've lost a few people up to now that are close to my heart.